All right, can you guys hear me? Should we start? Can you hear me? Okay. All right. So let me share my screen. Alright. You guys can see this, right? Can you guys see this? Yeah. Can see, right? This one? Can you see this? Yes. So I'm going to thank you. Right, welcome to our final revision for COM1110 English Communication Skills. And final exam is tomorrow. How are you guys feeling about it? How are you? Are you guys okay? All right? Stress? Why stress lah? It's an open book test. You should be grateful. All right? So all this while, people have exam for final exam. They have to memorize a lot of things. You don't have to memorize. You can just go and look at the structure, look at the examples. So you guys are very, very lucky. On top of that, instead of only 2 hours, you guys have 3 hours. Okay? So you guys are very, very lucky. Take it to the full advantage. All right? So your overall course mark 60% should be available tomorrow. I haven't done all. I have like some people I haven't done yet. So I have to apologize really. As I mentioned, I have one extra class compared to other lecturers. So I have a lot of things on my mind and I haven't slept. I only slept for 2-3 hours from yesterday. I think since Monday I haven't had a lot of sleep. And I don't want to mark your assignment, with that feeling of not having enough sleep or anything else, because I have a lot of things to do as well, and I have one class still going on right now. So I apologize. I think it's for the best. But inshallah, you should be able to see 60% of your marks tomorrow. Okay? Um, People who did not submit their reflective essay, I think I emailed them in week 14 to ask them to submit their reflective essay, but still they did not, and I cannot accept any more excuses. Some of the people who I emailed, they immediately responded. Maybe they forget about their reflective essay. So those people already submitted, but these three people still did not submit. Okay, so for these three people, you can anticipate to get 0 for your reflective essay. So you basically know already your course marks out of 60%. Okay, so revision for final exam. We're gonna start our revision in a bit. Right, so just to remind you guys, your final exam is now 3 hours and 15 minutes. Supposedly the 15 minutes is a reading time, but whatever, I don't know if that is reading or you have started to type things out, or I don't care. Okay, so 3 hours and 15 minutes all for you guys to do it. Right, it will be tomorrow 2 p.m. up until 5:15 p.m. So 2 p.m. up until 5:15 p.m. If you submit late, there will be some consequence for it. This is a very, very important to note. Please upload your answers only in Word document format, not PDF and not Pages. Now, at least PDF, I can still view it in my iPad, but Pages, it's going to be a hustle if you want me to open my MacBook and then open separate things, okay? So I have had students submitting in Pages, and it's so selfish. All right? So please only submit your answers in Word documents, okay? I know because some of you guys did this in your assignment, okay? Marks unfortunately will be deducted if you submit in these two things, because I have reminded you guys two times already, in previous revision and also in today. Okay, please do not submit in Word document. Next, there will be a link to a Google Hangout tomorrow for a live stream communication. So if there is any problem, if you cannot open the question paper or you have any trouble with your computer or anything like that, I will be providing a link to the Google Hangout and also my WhatsApp number in case that you guys have any trouble. All right. So that is our strategy for tomorrow. I want to tell you guys again, I have mentioned this the last class. What are the things that will be tested in your final exam? Good news, you guys won't be tested with any grammar like your first test, or you won't be tested with any type of essays. So in the beginning of this semester, we learn about illustrative essay, we learn about process essay, and we learn about cause and effect essay. Am I right? But those are the things that will not be tested. So you guys are very, very lucky. You guys are very lucky bunch. All you guys will be tested are only these things. Okay? So for emails, memos, letters, and also informative report, there are four different formats that you should understand and you should know the difference. You don't have to memorize because you can refer to the slides when you guys are doing the exam itself. Okay, so you guys are lucky. Okay, when it comes to email and letters, these are the things that can be tested in a way that is interchangeable to one another. So it could be trying to write for complaint, trying to reply to those complaints, try to write to inquire, to get requests or to get reimbursements, and lastly, trying to reply to these inquiries or requests. Okay, so today, hopefully, I just want to briefly remind you guys on these formats and also most importantly on informative report. So all these four things confirm will be asked. Okay, it's a matter of you guys want to choose this question or not. So there will be six different questions comprised of all of these. So choose the one that you feel that you want to do. Okay. All right, so this is how your final exam is going to look like. I think I showed you guys in the last class, but I'm just gonna remind you and show you guys again, just in case, okay? During your final exam tomorrow at 2 p.m., all you have to do is click on content on your blackboard. Let's go back again. Click on content. Click in here, final exam, okay? And these are the things that will be seen, but for now you can only see this, you cannot see these two things. Okay, so as for tomorrow at 2 p.m, first thing you have to download the question paper. So you have to download this one first. Okay, download your question paper here and then edit your this Word document and write your name and student ID. Now I want to show you how to do it using your test 2 paper. Okay, it will not look like this, but somehow almost like this. Okay, this is your test 2 paper. So first thing first, you have to edit this, delete this, write your name. Okay, and then your student ID, and then what program are you? This is important because each one of you comes from different programs and I have to insert your marks differently. So if you guys are DQSI, just type it here. So these are important, yeah? These are important. Please, please write this. Okay, if you want, you can even bold this so that it's obvious. Okay, so tomorrow you will be seeing a lot of lines like this. Okay, you will be seeing a lot of lines. So first thing, please delete these lines first. Okay, So if you choose to answer the first question, right here, question 1. Okay, then you start typing the answers. As simple as that. That is how you do your test tomorrow. Okay, so there will be lines. Delete those lines and then tell me which question is this referring to, and then type your answers down there. So for tomorrow, you will be seeing 6 different questions. So those 6 questions will go first, then only you see the lines. So it's very important for you to label which question are you answering. Okay, remember, please label which question did you choose. Out of 6 questions, all you have to do is choose 4 only. So 4 only. So if you did 5, I'm just going to choose the first 4. Okay, I'm just going to mark the first 4. Remember, there will be 6. You don't have to answer all 6, only choose 4. Okay, all right. Okay, and once you're done, save your answer and then upload your answers here. Upload your answers here, and this is where it's very, very important for you to remember, because you only have one chance to upload it, and make sure the one that you uploaded, number 1, is in Word document format. Number 2, make sure that it's the final one, the finalized one. And number 3, you upload before the time. Okay, so if you upload later than 5:15, it will be regarded as late and you will be punished for it. It will be a penalty for late submission. Okay? So you understand what to do tomorrow? Do you understand what to do? Do you have any questions about tomorrow's exam on the procedures? All good? Understood? Do you understand? All good? Okay? Can you guys reply? Okay, all good? Okay. Hope tomorrow's internet connection is in good condition. Okay, so this final exam will be slightly different because you only need the internet connection in the first 5 minutes and also in the last 5 minutes, because the first 5 minutes is when you need to download this question paper, and then you don't have to be online. You have my WhatsApp number. In case anything happens, you can you can WhatsApp me. And then the last 5 minutes, or maybe you want to spare longer because in case you cannot download it, okay? So that maybe 10 minutes, the last 10 minutes, you might want to allocate that time to upload the final exam paper here. So you have legit about 3 minutes, 3 hours to do the test. Okay? All right. I think somebody asked question. Somebody asked question? No? All good? Okay. But if you still have any trouble, if you still have any problem with your internet connection, you have my WhatsApp number. All you have to do is just give me some proof. For example, it's uploading and it's taking time. It's already 5:15. WhatsApp me and show me evidence that you are uploading it, but your internet is very low, blah blah blah, and I'll give you some permission, and then I won't penalize you for late submission. Okay? All right, all good? Okay? All right. So let's continue now. Okay? Thank you. What's now I want to touch into informative report, because as I mentioned, those 4 things will be tested. It's a matter of you want to choose or you don't want to choose it. Okay, I want to recap again on informative report, because I think in exam, not a lot of students will do informative report. I think the main reason why they don't want to do informative report is because the they forgot about the structure, they forgot about the formatting. But because you guys have the advantage of open book test, you would be able to know. You don't have to memorize it. You only have to refer to the examples, refer to the slides. So I think that you guys can challenge yourself to do informative report as well. Okay. If you want to do informative report, remember there are these format that you have to include in your report. The first one is title. You need also the executive summary or abstract. You need the introduction. You need the findings. You need the conclusion, and lastly, the recommendations. Now, if you guys notice, this morning I uploaded an example you in a separate folder here. Click on revision for final exam, and then this is one folder which has two examples of informative report. So if you decide to do this tomorrow, you can have a look at these two examples. Okay. Now, so as mentioned, if you want to do informative report, you have to include these 6 things in your report. Now, let's take a look into a few things that you have to remember if you want to do this. First one, please always remember to read the question very, very carefully. Number 2, you need to avoid using personal pronoun. We done this, we done that, I done this, I done that. I was in charge. She was in charge. So please avoid using personal pronouns. Okay. And for informative report, you can write up until 2 pages. So it won't be as long as what you see or what you gave me for your report assignment. It's only up until 2 pages. Now, a good example will be the first one here. But this one has a very good analysis, very good pictures and stuff, so you can learn from both basically. Okay, so you can read the examples not in week 14 folder but in the revision folder. Okay, so for the first one, executive summary, you have to remember executive summary is only one single paragraph. So in that one single paragraph, you have to write what is the purpose of the report, what are the main things that you found, and what can you get from this report. For example, you guys can learn on how to uh, improve your communication skills, blah, 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 all those things. Okay. Next is giving the introduction. Introduction is very general, very straightforward. You have to give a background of the report. So, for example, you want to write a report for Intima, the student body, to summarize the Halloween party in 2019. So, this is how you can do the introduction. This report is written for Intima to summarize Intima's Halloween party in 2019. The Halloween party was held on 31st of December 2019 at MPH Hall. The ceremony started at 8:30 p.m. with a magic show by the Illuminati Boys. Okay, this is one of the ways to do it. Next, you go right into the findings. From the event, there are 3 outcomes that can be generated, mainly on the first one, ticket sale, number 2, performances, and number 3, event organization. So here you can organize your findings by putting subheadings 3.1 because there are 3 things that you want to include. The first one is the ticket sale, number 2 is the performances that they had on that day, and lastly, event organization as the last one. So for the first subheading 3.1, you want to talk about sales, ticket sales. So from the pie chart, so uh, you can simply create or invent any kind of um, pie chart or any kind of visual information, however you want to do it. Okay, so you just have to invent the findings. You don't have to do it for real, just invent it. From the pie chart, it can be observed that most tickets are sold to students from FOPCAL faculty. On the other hand, the least sold is to students from FITS. So this is an example. All of this information will be generated from this TC statement, which are on ticket sales, performances, and event organization. So in your findings, I want to see three things, three subheadings: 3.1, 3.2, and 3.3. Okay. So the second example here gave a very good detail on that subheadings. So have a look at that if you want to do informative report. Okay. Next is on conclusion. For conclusion, it has to be on the findings. What are the key findings? For example, in conclusion, the Intima Halloween Party 2019 was a success the number of tickets sold was higher as compared to the years before, blah, 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 blah. Okay. And recommendations. So this one you can give numbering. First recommendation, second recommendation, third recommendation. It is suggested for Intima members to open a booth for ticket concourse and the ticket to concourse to sell the ticket, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So if you notice, in all of these sections, it does not have any personal pronoun. So please do not do personal pronoun. If you do personal pronoun tomorrow, your marks will be deducted in language because you need something very objective in writing a report. Okay. So the advantage of you doing report is that number one, not a lot of students will do report. So if you do report, it's something new, something fresh. So it's good in a way that it's very different. And a lot of times when your answers are different, you will get higher marks. Number two, because you don't have to memorize the format. It's there, the example is there. All you have to do is replicate according to the situation. Okay? So that is why I think doing report can be something good for tomorrow as well. Number three, it does not have to be long. You can write up until 2 pages, but make sure all of the necessary information is there. So if your finding is only one paragraph, it's not enough. Don't do this. Okay, make sure that you have a lot of ideas if you want to do report. Okay, all right. So I will be continuing and moving now to business writing. So now I'm going to attempt to cover business writing for emails and letters. But before that, any questions about informative report? Any questions about the report? Questions? Questions? No questions? Okay. All right. All good. So for business writing, emails and letters, there are two different formats that you have to follow. Follow this. Okay. Even if you don't have anybody to CC, please follow this. From, date, to, CC, subject, salutations. These are repeating the same thing from the last revision. So if you are writing to specific people, you have to write that person's name, or you can know that person is a miss or a mister, so you can write dear miss or dear madam if you want to, or dear sir, but it's best for you to refer to that person's name. So for example, in your test 2 you are supposed to write to Miss Lawrence, so dear Miss Lawrence, comma. So if you don't do comma, you will be deducted marks as well. Okay, we need to put number to each paragraph in informative essay. So for informative report. So for informative report, I'm going to go back to the informative report. It's a very good question, Kiran. Thank you. So for informative report, you have to write numberings for on top of uh these things. Okay? So these things. So the title, you don't have to write number for the title. Sorry. For the title 0, executive summary 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Title 0, executive summary 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So for that executive summary, you have to write 1.0. Oh, so sorry. Just gonna quickly go. Okay, so sorry. Yes, so the numbers should be on top of each section. Not only that, for findings, because I'm expecting to see more information and more details in findings, you have to write numbering for each subheadings, like 3.0 here. So the first subheading that goes under findings should be 3.1, 3.2, and 3.3. Okay? Does it answer your question, Kieran? Okay? Okay, thank you. All right. Now, thank you for the question. I'm going to go back to email and letters now. So, for these things, I think you guys are tired of listening about emails and letters already, right? But please follow these formats and make sure that the email address is professional. Okay, that is the main difference between an email and also a memo. Is that an email, you have to write email addresses. Memo, you don't have to write email addresses. Okay? Um, Subject, make sure you don't caps lock all of the subjects. Okay? And then read the question to know the person that you're writing to. If there is no name, I mean, tell you straightforward, there will be names. Okay? Just address that person's name. Nah. And then always introduce yourself and tell the reason why you're writing this email and put it in introduction paragraph, the first paragraph here. If there is more than one issue, please make different paragraphs. There will be more than one issue. Let's take a look at an example of your test paper here. So for example, here, this is your test paper. There are 4 different things to cover. Therefore, I need to see 4 different paragraphs for each. And each paragraph, you have to write enough information and invent a lot of details so that you can get higher marks for each one of these. Okay? All right? Because content is 8 marks. So if you do this one, you mention this, but you don't mention any details about it, you're only going to get 1 instead of 2. So you need 8 marks. Okay? All right. Next, signature, please don't sign it. Only indicate your name, your position, uh, if you're a student, and contact number uh, in here. Now, this one I have mentioned in the previous session. Please use professional email addresses. Now, this is the first one here is a personal because it's Gmail or Hotmail or anything that is very something like that, or Yahoo is personal. Professional email address is when it's indicating where that person is working for. For example, if you are working for Celcom, you have to write at celcom.com.my or something, whatever behind. But I need to see where or your affiliation or the company that you're working for in that email address itself. Okay, if you cannot do this, if you just use a normal or personal email address, your in the marks will be deducted under the format. Okay, sorry. CC need to fill in or not depends. If you feel like you want to CC to your boss, you can create a account or an email address for that person. If not, you can leave it blank, but the CC has to be written. Okay, so the CC like this need to be written. It needs to be written, but if you want to leave it blank, just leave it blank in a way that there is no email address here. Okay, so if you don't put CC, there will be marks deducted here. Okay, so if you want to CC, if you feel like you want to CC this to your boss, for example, you're doing reply to a complaint or request. Obviously, you're working for someone, so you want to CC your head of department, for example, you can do that. Okay? Or else leave it blank in a way that you still write CC but don't write any email addresses here. Okay? Alright? Understood? Okay. Um, Next, this is the format of a formal letter. There are examples given in Blackboard week 10, so you can have a look at it. So basically, the format is that the first one you need the recipient's name and address. So you can simply invent the address if you want to. If you don't like to use your own home address or something, you can invent the email address, sorry, the house address of that person, the date, and then the sender's name and address, which is you, and then introduction. Similarly, you have to write why are you writing uh, this letter, and then message. As mentioned, for each one of these, you have to write in separate paragraphs. Okay, and then closing can be as simple as this or something longer. Then leave taking your sincerely, comma, don't forget a comma, and then your signature. Now in letter, I want to see your signature. So you can, so because you have to work in a Word document, you can find any kind of font that might have something like, maybe this looks like a, okay, then write your actual name. So you have to change the font basically. Okay, this is an example of writing a signature for letters, or maybe you just want to write your first name, Farah, for instance. Okay, so this is an example on how you do signature for letters. Okay, all right. So this is the format. If you want, you can look at the example in week 10. So if you choose to write email or letters to write a complaint, okay, first you have to read the question. The question will tell you if they want email or letters, okay? So if you want to write complaint for the main body paragraph, these things, okay, you have to create a lot of information. You have to invent some ideas. Am I right? So for each one of those, this is how you do it. You tell us the cause or what happened, effect, what or how is it has affected on your experience dining at the restaurant. Okay, and lastly, the solution. What do you want the company to do? What do you want to see in future? This is how you get more details or marks in your content. Okay, so for each issue it needs to be addressed in its own paragraph. So for example, in this test there are 4 things, therefore 4 different paragraphs. Okay, and for each one of these it has to answer this thing if you're writing a complaint. Okay, all right. Now, switching to reply to complaint. If you want to know more, have a look at week 12. So when you want to reply to complaint, there are 2 different ways of doing it. Number 1 is you want to accept the complaint. Okay. Number 2 is when you want to reject the complaint. Now, each one of these have different procedures. I'm not going to recap that thing in today's class because we don't have much time. So you guys go ahead and read and study yourself in week 12 folder. Okay? Moving on to letters or email for inquiry. This is in week 13. week 1-3. So for emails of letters and inquiry, it could be in 3 different ways or 3 reasons why you want to write this email or write these letters. So either number one, you want to ask about something. You want to ask when is the next test, when is the next delivery, when is blah blah blah, anything you want to ask, anything. Number two is when you want to request to use something. You want to borrow things from Intima's office, you want to borrow the library's facilities, for example. So that is to request. Or you can ask for reimbursement. Reimbursement, the Malaysian way of saying it, is claim. For example, you want to claim for a service that you don't like. You have bought something and you don't like it, you want to reimburse it. Or if you're working for a company and you have gone traveling, or you went for a conference, you went somewhere else, and you are entitled to reimbursement. So you want to reimburse that for a company, you can email the company and say that I want to reimburse for these kind of things. So that is also possible. Okay? So for these things, for the main body paragraph, remember the main body paragraph, the information or what are the things that we want to see in your body paragraph will be stated. So for each one of these paragraphs, okay, you have to use the 3W technique. First W is what? What do you want? Is it inquiry, blah, 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 request item, request information? What is it that you want? Number two, why do you need it? Number three, when do you need it? Okay, so do you need it before, you know, next week, before blah, 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 blah. Okay, so this is the technique for you to get extra marks for your content, because in each one of these, you have to invent the details to get higher marks. Okay, all right. And now, trying to reply to the request or the inquiry or reimbursement, still using the same 3W concept, but now the time factor is optional. So here, when. So for example, that person says that we want to get the books from the library before next week, Sunday, da da da, what time? Okay, so here you can say that instead of telling them that, you can say the books are available from blah 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 blah. Okay, so you also have to mention that if you want to approve or you want to reject the request. If you want to reject, you must mention why you want to reject it. Okay, it's very important. If you want to reject, you have to tell us why you reject and give some alternative. Okay, for example, this person wants to borrow the library's chairs or bean bags. Okay, you can say we apologize, someone else has booked the bean bags for that day. However, as an alternative, you might want to email Intima office because they have several chairs or beanbags available for booking. Okay, so if you want to reject, you have to give reason why and also give some alternative to it so that that person can find another way of still getting what they want. All right, okay, so those are the things to cover for business writing emails and letters. Is there any question for emails and letters? Any question for emails and letters? Okay, all right. So please remember, what I try to cover today is not everything. You still have to go to each specific week to see the example, to see how you can do it. Okay, I won't do justice by covering everything, all of the syllabus from the whole semester in one single hour. That's impossible. Okay, now, lastly, we want to look into the business writing on Memo. So Memo is something that is very similar to email, simply because Memo back in maybe 10 years ago, should be should be printed out and pasted in board around the campus or around the company. So that is how memo was done in the past. But today we're seeing a lot of different ways of doing it because we have the internet. So mostly today people will receive memo in a form of email. Okay, and memo is a bit more simpler as compared to email, and you can refer to the attachment in week 14 for the example. It's something quite similar, but it's a similar to the email, but it's much more simplified. We have receiver, we have the sender, we have the date and title. But for the receiver and also the sender, so sorry, I don't have enough sleep. I don't get enough sleep, so my mind is not on the right place. Receiver and also the sender, these two things you do not have to write in a form of email address like email. Okay, look at the example in week 14, you should know it. Okay, and then the title or the subject should be almost the same with the email. And then for each one of these, similar to what you found in your test tool, you would have different things to include in your memo. For each one of those, you have to write in different paragraphs. Okay, different paragraphs. Now, let's talk about the differences between memo and email. Memo, usually you send it to a lot of people. Therefore, if you look at the receiver, you can say like all workers or all students for COM1110, for example. So it's something like it's very general. It's not like specific email addresses. Have a look at the example, have a look at the slides in week 13. You should know how it looks like. Okay? And then, but in email, there are specific people that you want to write, and it has to be written in email address form. Okay? The language for memo, normally it will be very direct and straight to the point. Sorry, whereas email, much more friendly because most likely you would know the person that you're writing to. Okay, now I want to talk about citation and referencing, but before that, any question about memo? Any questions about memo? No? Okay, so for tomorrow's test, you the question will be very straightforward in a way that you actually do not have to go online and look up for ideas or anything. Okay, if you happen or if you really want to go online and have a look at different ways, you need to know how to properly cite it, how to properly take the information and put it in your own words. Why? Because if you copy word by word from the internet, you are committing plagiarism. And if you're committing this plagiarism, copying word by word, your final exam, the whole final exam, will be deducted into half. Okay? So for example, I mark all of your test papers, okay, and out of 100 you get 75. Okay, 75. But when I put your test paper into this software called Turnitin, Turnitin can show if you copy from any kind of websites, any kind of books. Okay, so if that software detects your similarity more than 40%, which is a lot, okay, more than 40%, your overall marks just now 75 will be deducted into half. So 75 divided by 2. That is your mark for final exam. Okay? So final exam is 40% of your whole course marks, and that will be the final marks inserted for your CGPA. Okay? Got it? Again, I'm just going to tell you there is no need for you to go online and have a look at, examples or statistics, because you're not writing essays. You're writing business writing. And the information and context is given. The situation is given to you. So you don't have to go online and have a look at it. Okay? So even if you copy word by word from the slides, they would have problems as well. So you need to change a few things. But I doubt that you have to copy word by word, because each one of the situation would be different. Okay? All right? So if you happen or want to find something, external sources online or even from the slides, you need to reference it. Now I'm going to show you how to reference. If you want to reference, it's something very easy. Normally you want to reference on two things. First one, if you want to go online and find some statistics. Number two, if you want to find some quotes. I doubt that you will need this, but let's say if you want, okay? All you have to do is just write the source, where did you get it from, and also the year. Source and years. Source and year. So here, if Albert Einstein was the one who said it, his name, and then the year that it's been said. Okay? And for example, this is the website that you're looking at. So this is an example of a website that you probably want to look up to. Again, you don't need to do this. Okay, this is rubbish. You don't need to do this. But in case you need this, in case you want to look online and you copy word by word, this is how you do it. Okay, so for example, if you look at here, there are a lot of information here. Laboratory animals are not crucial, blah 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 blah. Basically, this website is talking about how they use animals for experiments or testing for labs. Okay, and how is it important to use animal for testing instead of using human, because we need to see if the drug or medicine is working or not, or else we are risking the life of another human being. Basically, this is what this article is talking about. And this article is a very good article because it has an example. So here we have an example. In 1933, a dozen of women blinded and one woman died from using a permanent mascara called Lash Lure. So Lash Lure contained this certain material, a chemical that is untested. At the time, there was no regulation to ensure the safety of the products. The phenylidinamide caused horrific blisters, abscesses, and ulcers to the face, eyelids, and also eyes of the users, and it led to blindness for some in the cases. Blah, blah. So basically, the point of this whole article is saying that there was an example, or there was a case in 1933 where 6 people have to go blind or were blinded because of trying out this mascara that has an untested chemical. Now, normally people will use animals to test these kind of substances or chemicals, but if we don't use animal, we directly go to human beings. This is the effect of this. Okay, so if you go online and you find a few things that you feel like it's interesting and you want to put it in your writing, I doubt that you have to, but in case that if you want it, first thing is that you have to summarize the finding or source. Okay, so for the first one here, I have to know where is the article or the source is from. So just now the article was from National Academy of Science, and the article was written in 2004. So basically, first, I only summarize what the article is about. Now here, the article is talking about the use of laboratory animal to ensure an efficacious or the effectiveness of a drug before it's being distributed for humans use. Okay, that is the summary of the article just now. What I want to take is also the example of the group just now. So here is the way I simplify the finding or the example just now. So a group also reported on a case in 1933 that involved a group of ladies with untested chemical. This has resulted into many severe consequences and even led to one death among the respondents. So if we go back to the article just now, this is the one that I took it from. Okay, only a few things that I remain the same words. Okay, for example, in 1933, obviously I cannot write something different. So I take the year 1933, I keep it in my summary, and I change a few things. Instead of saying women, I say ladies. Instead of telling what are the consequences. Now here, this report is very thorough. It's very specific. It's mentioning the name of the chemical, which I did not. Okay. It also mentioned about the specific outcome or specific consequences, horrific blisters, abscess, and also ulcers on the face, eyelids, and eyelashes. Do I say it? I didn't say it. Okay, I only say that it's lead to severe consequences and even led to one death among the respondents, because I want to stress on the consequence of having, untested chemicals to human being. All right. So as you can see, I don't copy word by word. I only take a few words and I change the words with some synonyms. Okay, if I do that, my similarity index will be lower. Okay, it won't get up until 40%. It won't even get to 1% if this is the case. Okay, so remember, do not copy word by word, summarize what you found. Okay, the tips is for you not to copy, summarize, or paraphrase, change a few words with synonyms, and make sure that it's relevant. If it's not relevant, don't put it. It's not necessary. You guys are writing business writing. You don't have to go online and find something else. But if you gatal want to go out and find things, and suddenly I found that your Turnitin, the similarity index, the plagiarism software found that you got more than 40%. Okay, in order for you to avoid that, try to use synonyms. Change the words into synonyms and summarize or paraphrase instead of copy word by word. That is how you do it. Okay, I doubt that you have to go and find anything online, but in case if you want to do it. Okay, so that is it for today's class or revision. Do you guys have any questions? Good luck for your final exam. I'm sure that it's very easy, but I think you guys need to manage your time wisely. Okay, yeah, don't gatal-gatal, don't copy. All you have to do is just understand the question, and then if you want, you can refer to the slides, but avoid from copy everything from the slides. Okay, because if you do, your similarity index will be higher. All right. Okay, any more questions before I end my class or revision today? I think this will be our last class. So thank you so much for joining me in this journey in business writing. Thank you so much. You guys are such wonderful students. If you need any help, could be academic, could be non-academic, anything at all, you can email me, not just this semester, next semester, if you need anybody, anyone to talk to, or if you need a help from a lecturer, you can email me. Okay, I'll try my best to help you. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for joining me, not just today but the whole semester. I want to apologize if I have upset you guys in any way. So I hope to see you guys around the campus. Please say hi. Okay, thank you. Happy Labor's Day. Thank you so much. If you need any help, I'm more than happy to help you guys. Okay. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. If you have any question, you can ask now. Yes. Yes. I am recording this session, so you should be able to see it. Okay? No problem. So if you have any problem with internet connection, you have my WhatsApp number, yeah? So all you have to do is just WhatsApp me and show me evidences so that I can take into account your internet problems. Okay? Thank you so much, guys. You guys are such wonderful students. I wish you all the best. Stay healthy, stay safe. You guys are very lucky, yeah. Remember, you guys are very lucky to have this open book test. Okay, so make sure that you guys are doing well for your test tomorrow. Okay, my prayers is always with you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. If you don't have any questions, you can leave. I'll be staying here in case any of you have questions. Okay? Thank you. Bye bye. Take care. Thank you. Thank you. Bye bye. One page means one answer in one document. What do you mean by that? One page means one answer, one document. What do you mean? Can you explain? What do you mean by that? Do you want to unmute your microphone? Oh, so for this one, I didn't say that you have to write in one page, for informative essay, sorry, informative report. So normally, your informative report, I am scared that you guys think that informative report for exam is something that is similar to what you did for your assignment. So it should not be that long in a way that a lot of you guys have done like 20 pages, 70 pages because you guys have a lot of findings. Am I right? So for if you want to do informative report tomorrow, it should be around 2 pages only. So if you look at the example here, you should know how it looks like. Okay, the example for informative report here. It could be up until 2 pages only. It should not be like 17 pages or 20 pages. Let's say reply to complaint. There are 4 complaints. Are we allowed to reject all in terms of reject two and reject accept all and reject two? Yes. Yeah, definitely. So for example, not just complain, even for requests. For example, this person wants to do an activity at MPH Hall and they need 4 things. The first one, venue. The second one, beanbags. The third one, maybe PA system. So you can say, okay, MPH Hall is available. Second, you say that the beanbags are not available, and you say the PA system is available. You can say that. Yeah. So all of those things you have to answer in separate paragraph because typically those things, the 4 things, will be in 4 different sorry, 4 different, let's say 4 different information like this A, B, C, D. Yes. Okay. Okay, any more questions? Any more questions? All right, thank you. Good luck for tomorrow. Answers need to compile with question. Yes. So this is an example. So this is, for example, these are the questions. Okay, and then this is your answers. So it should be in the same page. So tomorrow you will see a lot of lines like that. A lot of lines. Okay, example, these are the lines. I need you to remove those lines and then write something like this. So when you have to write four things, I want to see four of these so that I know, okay, this is answering question number one. This is answering question number four. This is answering question number five. This is answering question number six. So it's different uh, for because you have to choose four out of six. So I need to know which one are you choosing. Okay? And include the question as well. All right. Thank you. Any more questions? Okay, good luck. Good luck for tomorrow. You'll be fine. Good luck. Take care. Bye bye. Take care. Bye, guys.